Faith Time is our regular conversation on matters of faith, and joining us is Vice President of Coastal Alabama Community College, Dr. Lonnie Burnett. Good day to you, sir.
Good to see you, Chad.
All right, so we've talked to you a lot of times over the years. Previously, as President of the University of Mobile, you retired from that position, but you were pulled back into education. What happened?
Retirement did not take, apparently. I announced in August of 23, you were there, I was going to retire at the end of that academic year in 24, but in the meantime, that February, a good friend of mine, Dr. Aaron Milner, became president at Coastal. In his reorganization, a vice president position came open, and I was very intrigued and had the chance to apply for it. And here I am, a year and a half later, been at Coastal since June of 24.
All right, so let's talk about differences here. What's the difference between working at a religious school like the University of Mobile versus a secular one like Coastal Alabama?
Oddly enough, not as much as you think.
Really?
Yeah, I was very surprised when I got there. You know, the First Amendment's a wonderful thing. It says you cannot, the state cannot promote religion, but it also says you can't prohibit religion.
Okay.
So, you know, in a school like UM, you can promote religion. You can do things like require chapel, you can require religious courses, you can make the faculty answer certain faith-based questions in hiring. In a state school, of course, you cannot do that.
Right.
But you certainly can allow opportunities for faith activities. They're run by the students usually. I was amazed at the number we had at Coastal.
Yeah.
Everything from FCA to organized Bible studies to events, much more than I thought, and the students are very enthused about it and very open to faith-based activities.
Are there things that what are the things that you can't do at Coastal that you could do at UM?
Well, you cannot require, for example, a chapel attendance.
Okay.
You could certainly not require the faculty to answer faith-based questions. Now, having said that, the faculty there are amazing. Again, I was impressed with the number of faith-based people there. You know, the faculty there at Coastal, they work in their churches, they volunteer in the churches, they teach Sunday school. We have a couple of pastors on staff. So, you know, again, it's a very generic thing. It's not pushed by the state. It's of course allowed, it has to be allowed, but I was impressed by the amount of faith-based people there, just very good quality, character-driven people.
Do you think there's a mischaracterization of a school like Coastal that gets a rap because it is a state institution and it's connection to faith, or maybe a lack of a connection to faith?
I really do. I think sometimes you think it's all of one or the other. You think of a school like UM where it's completely faith-based, and you think of a secular school like us or South or anywhere Southern Miss as being a non-religious, I would not use the word pagan, but I've heard that sometimes, but it's just a bad rap. I mean, I see very little difference in the students. They're seeking answers at UM and at Coastal. I see very little difference in the faculty, the staff, the students. They're just very open, especially I think nowadays more so than ever, very open to faith-based issues.
What do you think students are looking for when they go to a secular school, but they also want to have faith as a part of their lives? What are they trying to answer or comfort themselves with? How does it help them today?
Again, there's not much difference there. Students want things like security. They want things like authenticity. They want sincerity. I don't care if you're at Mobile, at Coastal, anywhere. Students want help with basic needs. They want to know you care. They want to know you're concerned. I mean, there's no difference in these students, I don't think, in any institution. They just want to see a person very sincerely concerned about their issues. Can you meet them where they live, pretty much? You know, not talking down to them, but lifting them up, kind of. I think's big.
Why do you think faith is an important part of one's education?
Well, there's a great quote by C.S. Lewis years ago. He said something like this. He said, look, education without values makes man a more clever devil. So without character, without moral compass in education, you are training the mind. But you're teaching folks, you know, an extreme case, you could teach a person to build a much better weapon to kill people. I mean, without character, without morality in any education. I mean, what good is it really, in my mind?
Right, in a way it's kind of sociopathy.
Exactly, it can be dangerous in a way.
Talk about values more specifically. What are the values you'd want to instill in somebody so they're using their education for good ends?
Certainly. Honesty. Any kind of character issue. We've got, again today, people, we need in politics, we need character, we need truth, we need honesty, we need moral compasses, we need values in all aspects of life. If you're going to be a nurse, we train tons of nurses at Coastal. I want you to be a nurse of character. If you're going to go into business, an honest business person. I mean, you can get the nursing knowledge, but have you got empathy? Have you got character? Have you got caring? Those are values besides just the textbook education.
I love that you brought up empathy,
Yep.
because I feel like that's one of the hardest
Oh, yeah.
ones to train.
Sure.
And I'm not saying that empathy should be trained in a sense, but how do you instill a sense of empathy in a young person, in a student?
That's a good case, a good question. Empathy, I think, is a thing you model. That's one thing at Coastal we do. Our faculty, our staff, we model these things. You know, if we're empathetic, students pick up on that. If we don't care, they don't care. What I've been impressed with at Coastal is the amount of empathy, the amount of folks. You know, we're a large place. We've got 8,000 students.
Yeah, that's big.
Over 8 campuses in 6 counties. But our faculty know these folks by name. They know their background, their family situations. We've got everything from the 18-year-old freshman to a 40-year-old war veteran who's back to learn welding. And in all these cases, we can be empathetic. We can learn what they're up against. These folks are coming back for training. It's not just your 18-year-old out of high school. These are folks that are repurposing their career. So, I mean, there's a great chance. They've got kids at home. They've got maybe ailing parents. So it's a good chance for us to model that empathy. I think that's crucial, Chad.
So talk to me about, in general, the challenges of your new job. What are the things that you've encountered that you maybe weren't expecting?
Again, our size is both a challenge but an opportunity. Again, we've got 8,000 students. We're in 6 counties from Gulf Shores to Thomasville. That's just a great chance for us to make a difference. It's a large footprint. You can say it's a challenge, but I mean, what a great challenge to help that many folks. Again, everything from your basic math, English, I'm a historian, to welding, to nursing, to career tech, things like that. So we are so big in so many areas. We've got a good team from Dr. Milner on down, a great team to handle that, but that's kind of a challenge to meet all those different niches out there, I guess. It's just such a large area we deal with.
How often do you get out to the other campuses?
Constantly. He'll go one way, I'll go the other way. So again, we try to go to at least once a month in every campus. Usually in a given week, we'll be in 4 or 5 different campuses each week, probably.
All right, so how can, talking more about the religious aspect, how can a state school encourage faith while not requiring it, or is that even a possibility?
Well, when you say encourage, again, we cannot say to a student, you must do this.
Yes.
But we can show by our example. We can show, again, back to that compassion and empathy, we can kind of show faith in our lives. When the kid has got I call them kids, when the kid's got a issue, if we're empathetic, that shows faith. That makes that student want to pursue that. We can also, by the way, provide opportunities. Our softball coach in Babe Burnett does a thing called Fields of Faith once a year.
Yeah.
They bring in speakers. I mean, it's a great thing. We did a community night of worship last year. We used our Performing Arts Center, had 500 folks show up. So we can do opportunities like that. We don't push it.
Right.
We don't require it like you could at UM, but we can give opportunities, and they'll respond. I mean, they're very good about responding.
Talk about the academic aspects of it. How is the community college different from University of Mobile in an academic sense?
It's just the variety of things. The University of Mobile, great academic school, but it's more of the basic 4-year university. You throw in the nursing, you throw in, of course, our great music program. At Coastal, you've got the 2-year basic, what we call the academic transfer.
Yeah.
You may go to Mobile, South, Auburn, wherever, but you then got so much more, everything again from, on my campus in Babe Burnett, cosmetology, dental assistants, nursing. You go to Thomasville, there's welding, machine tools. You go to Brooklyn, there's aviation. So it's not just what I call the basic 4-year academic program. It's the career tech. It's everything from GED to preparing for engineering school. There's just so many. The biggest thing I saw differently was the variety. I don't think most folks realize what a community college does. I did not. My background was 4 years.
Straighten me out academically on this, or what does a community college do in a sense that you think people don't know?
Okay, our vision statement says we meet the needs of all students. You know, a 4-year can be very selective because there's certain programs. We will take almost anyone and train them to where they want to be. If you want to be a welder, or a nurse, or an engineer, or a math major, it doesn't matter. We will do every aspect of education. To me, that was the biggest thing I had to learn about a community college. I'll be honest, in a four-year school, you sometimes look down on these community colleges because you kind of get this arrogant view that we're the university.
Right.
I was that way at one point.
Right.
When I saw Coastal, it took about a week for me to realize that was very, very misleading because they were, first of all, such great people. Great staff, great faculty, great competent people. In so many ways they could help folks. It was an amazing, for me, an eye-opening experience.
Was there a specific class or a thing that you attended that made you realize, hey, this is a great institution and people shouldn't look down on community colleges?
When I saw my first HVAC lab, okay, I teach history. Nobody pays me what they pay HVAC guys to teach history, right? When they come to us and fix your air conditioner, they're making great money. I see an HVAC lab and thought, this is amazing. Why would a person not want to do this? I mean, it's a great career, guaranteed job. When I see things like pipe fitting labs, that's not my, I'm a historian.
Yeah.
I've never seen a welding lab, or I've never seen a HVAC lab until I got to Coastal, but there's just so many things like that that students can take advantage of. Besides just your math, science, and English, which also are great, that's what I do, but there's just so many varieties of things that you could do.
What do you think has been your favorite part of the job so far?
Again, I think learning the people, learning what we can offer, the various aspects of education. I've enjoyed just a whole new experience of education. It's not what I've been trained to do, but it's been a great year and a half experience to learn what's going on with these people. It's just a wonderful thing.
It's so interesting that community colleges in a way have seen kind of a renaissance, particularly with Coastal, with your record enrollment, is that in a way, community colleges are a bit of a more affordable option.
They are thriving. The tuition is ours especially, very affordable. They are thriving across the state and across the nation because of this workforce push. Example, we need in Mobile, I think in the next 10 years, 3,000 more welders, just welders. So we can provide for that need. We're thriving for that reason, I think. There's so many workforce chances, jobs to be filled. You hear about AI all the time, which is, that's a big issue. AI cannot weld for you. AI cannot fix your AC yet, okay? So those jobs will be there, I believe.
Vice President of Coastal Alabama Community College, Dr. Lonnie Burnett, we thank you for joining us for this edition of Faith Time on News 5.